Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the SAC Podcast. This is the third one for this season, I believe, because we're previewing Tournament 3. I am Rays, joined here by Skepadillions, and they're joined by their emotional support, Cappuccino.
You finally referenced it on your own, Rays.
I gotta lean into it eventually. If I don't lean into it, it'll just be bad. So
It'll just be weird. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta lean into it eventually.
Yeah, commit to the bit. The third co-star of the SAC Podcast is the emotional support Cappuccino.
All right. Before we preview Tournament 3, let's talk about Tournament 2. Some things that, surprised me or just surprised us in general. So, First things first. Who won the tournament? Let's talk about that. Let's start from the top, work our way to the bottom, and in general get going.
Yeah, so the Tournament 2 was won by Captain Happy Crew, which is a pickup that has existed for quite some time. They've been around probably since I started comp, to be honest, Rays. They did win 3-0 over Get Your Money Up, which is a team that's been doing pretty well in the season so far.
Yeah.
Let's look at their result.
Yeah, Get Your Money Up was also someone who did well in Qualifier 1, I believe, because I feel like I remember talking about them.
Yeah, they won first silver, which is the result like, oh, gosh darn well, we should have made gold, but we're gonna prove it to you by winning silver. That was what they walked away with. And then they put their money where their mouth was. They got their money up, if you will, by getting second in gold in Qualifier 2. So looking quite good, a very strong team. I've played with Stara in the past, phenomenal player. So Captain Happy Crew is showing that just because they haven't been around relatively recently, because they've been around for quite some time as a pickup group, even winning SOS 121 relatively recently, punching that ticket 3-0, we want that final spot.
Yeah, speaking of final spots, it's an awesome time. We're halfway through the season. Who is actually in finals right now? And is there anyone who's maybe leading the wildcard standings?
Yeah, okay, so I got my notes. So Qualifier 1, the final spots went to the Final Reckoning and Velocity. The Final Reckoning taking advantage of a seeding mishap and also just 3-1ing Velocity, just taking it. In a phenomenal upset that at the time I know SAC staff was extremely surprised by. And third place went to Fishies on the Lake. They have undergone some roster changes via eligibility recently, but Fishies on the Lake in Qualifier 2, despite those roster changes, did also get third place in Qualifier 2. So currently, they are expected to make finals based off of their points. Nothing's guaranteed. You never know. But very currently, Fishies on the Lake with 6 points, we would expect them to be in finals based off of their Qualifier 1 and Qualifier 2 results. Qualifier 2, who got their ticket outright, would be Captain Happy Crew and Get Your Money Up. So we're looking in a situation where we can anticipate about half the teams that are in finals.
So things are starting to heat up because time is ticking down on the teams who want to qualify for finals. Like Tournament 3 and Tournament 4 they're fast approaching. So it's really, really important that these teams come out here and play to try and get wildcard points. Because like you were saying, Fishies on the Lake got third in both tournaments, and now their spot is looking very strong for coming into that wildcard position in finals.
Even despite the roster changes, which happened between Qualifier 1 and Qualifier 2, they said, hey, we weren't getting carried, and came back in and got third again. So I know that they are anticipating on playing Qualifier 3, which is tomorrow. So I want to see if they punch a little bit higher than third place and get that spot outright, because then that's going to cause a recalculation of the points further down the chain. And if they win their ticket, their spot by getting that first or second place, then it's somebody else who's going to qualify for those 4 additional slots based off of their points. Or
So,
they'll get third again.
an interesting question to ask is, what would be better for either fishies on the lake from having a better shot in finals? Would it be better for them to get the wild card spot and potentially pull an upset, or do you think they should just go for the position outright?
I guess it depends on the team psychology, right? So in finals, the first place seed, so if you get first place in any of the qualifiers, you're a seed 1 for the purpose of finals. So round 1 of finals, all of those seed 1s have a bye. So
Oh,
round 1 will actually be taking place between those who qualified via wild card and those who got second place in each of the qualifiers. So if you are the team that likes to get scrappy before having to take your more serious matches, I mean, realistically, it's SAC finals. All of those matches are going to be sweaty. All of these teams, regardless of whether or not they qualify based off of first place, second place, or the wild card, they still got there through the work throughout the entirety of the season. SAC is pretty notorious for even sets. So
yeah.
if you're the type of team that needs a little bit longer to get warm, maybe it is worth the risk of qualifying via wild card. Obviously, it's not a guarantee. That's why it's a wild card, a seeding system for that third seed. But if you're closer to victory, you're further
True.
in victory road if you win a tournament. The second place placement doesn't have that benefit. Worth noting though, on a related note, that if a team qualifies for say Captain Happy Crew comes up for qualifier 3 and wins again, hypothetically, then
Yeah.
that's a 5th wild card slot that opens up because you don't get bumped up just because somebody else won an additional qualifier.
Okay.
Instead that there's another wild card slot. So really, who knows? Like, I guess
Yeah.
it just depends on who you are and how many risks you're willing to take.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things. If I'm one of those wildcard teams, or if I want to potentially make a risky move to win it all, sometimes those risks pay off big.
Yeah.
So definitely a thought process to consider.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, was there anyone whose performance in tournament 2 surprised you, like who either exceeded expectations or potentially fell a little bit short?
Um, A little. Oh, I'm sorry. A little bit short. Elongate. Our I'm good friends with Jeannie. If you know me and Jeannie, we've commentated majors together and commentated lands and play Valorant together. Like we're good friends. So don't get mad. Please stop. Please stop throwing in groups. I love you guys very much. Please step it up. They're a Div 2 team. I know they could do a lot better than they're currently doing now. It's just they're a glass cannon along gate. When they're doing really well, they're in it. When they are crumbling, those stonks drop.
Yeah.
So I want to see them play better, and they're playing
Yeah,
qualifier 3. So
that's good. Being in qualifier 3 is good. I wonder if Elongate just has team styles that they're matched up poorly into, and they got unlucky in their group because they got seeded with teams who counter them in terms like of stylistically, and because of that small sample size, it causes them to underperform overall. That
giving them the benefit of the doubt.
come on. I don't want to just put everyone on glass. Like, I don't even
Yeah,
have any game to watch to put them on blast for. Because, like, if you throw the VOD up, I'll put them on blast, but, like, that's not why we're here.
yeah. No, I agree. I want to see them make gold, and I want to put them on stream. So, please. Do it for Monkey Meatball. I have faith. uh, in terms of other teams that surprised me for Tournament 2, I mean, Eggshells is another team that I'm looking at in terms of qualifying for with finals via wildcard, because they consistently make gold bracket. They've made gold bracket this qualifier, they made gold bracket qualifier 1. If I recall correctly, same with la 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 la. The 5 laws. They've also been doing consistently really well. Unlimited Wumi United, they are not playing qualifier 3, which is a genuine shame, because I think that they could qualify.
So an interesting thing to note about Eggshells, I pulled up the commentary doc. In qualifier 2, they lost to Captain Happy Crew, who ended up winning the tournament.
Yes.
In qualifier 1, they lost to Velocity, who got second to lock in their position. So far, Eggshell has only lost to someone who won the tournament, someone who got second in the tournament, and then they lost to Fishies in the Lake, who got third, who is a favorite for a wild card slot.
I think there's a term for this race.
They're right on the cusp, right on the edge. Like, it's one of the teams where I feel like I talk about them and I want them to do well, and I'm like, guys, please don't make me a liar.
I agree. I think they can do well. I think they're such an eager and positive group that I'm sure that they're aware of where the kinks along the road are. We talk about Eggshells a lot just because I think they're cool. I don't know any of them, but I think they're cool. Also, that curse of losing to the winners of an event, I bet that sounds really familiar. I love you.
I mean, it does remind me of some people, but there are a lot of people like that, so we're not going to put a name on those people.
No. Okay, moving on. La 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 la. That team that I hate having to say their name, getting 5th in both golds. They're still sticking around. They still want to play the video game. They are here for qualifier 3, so I want to see them do better than 5th. They're another team that, because they've consistently made gold, they're looking at that wild card placement regardless of whether or not they go on to finals for a qualifier. So we love that. Persistence filled out the commentary doc, so I won't have to drop them tomorrow morning.
Let's go.
We love that for Persistence. Make sure your splash tags are correct, everyone, because some of you ain't.
That's always fun. That's like the most fun part of the tournament, right? I say sarcastically, but with not enough sarcasm in my voice.
Yeah, my favorite part of the tournament is when I have to drop teams for not having their splash tags correct. Psych, that's a joke. That's a
joke. Don't post that on Twitter, please. Thank you. It's a joke.
/J.
/J. Yeah. So okay, we've talked about gold bracket, we talked about finals. Let's give a little bit of love to the silver bracket. First place in silver bracket, Zero Luck Found. Second place, Demolition, in a very close 3-2 set. That, it can only be 3-2 close, and that, looks pretty close. Zero Luck Found also having that 1-2 against Half-Life. So they had to fight for that finals position. But then Demolition coming in 0-2, or 2-0, excuse me, on their side of the bracket, basically just sweeping up until finals, where Zero Luck Found is like, hold on, you can't win all of these games. You have to let us win some. But is there anyone in silver bracket who you think could potentially get to gold other than team previously talked about in Longate?
Love you, gamers. Zero Luck Found made gold in qualifier 1, which was in the larger tournament as well. With Ludi going on as anticipated, like I said in the preview for Qualifier 1, SAC staff found out about Ludi 5 days before the rest of y'all did. After 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 our dates had already been planned. But that being said, we did expect signups to drop with Ludi, as tends to happen every year. Teams are busy and they need their Saturdays for their scheduled sets. But Zero Luck found made gold in Qualifier 1, but did not for Qualifier 2, which they once again proved that they should be there by winning silver, and that's what you do want to see. People complain about their seed. Okay, win your games. Zero Luck found did that. Another team that I would like to see make gold would be Trip Hazard. They're a very sweaty team. They play at a very fast pace. And they always surprise me whenever I end up on the other side of their set. They're a team that I would love to see making gold, and I believe that they are not playing Qualifier 3. So that's an L on my part. That being said, looking at silver teams that did make silver that are playing Qualifier 3, we're looking at Half-Life, we're looking at Elongated, and that's pretty much it in terms of who's pulling. Oh, and Jelly Squids. In terms of who's going to be sticking around from silver and coming back and trying to get their spot in gold.
Yeah. The one thing I want to talk a little bit about Trip Hazard. I really like their style. Like you said, they play really fast, really high tempo. I really like that. That's the style that I really enjoy watching, because if you're not careful, the enemy team gets swept away. And when a team gets swept away in one of those high-paced games, it's so hard to dig your heels in and come back from that. And I just think they're really fun. Like, that style I find really, really fun to watch, and I really want them to get into gold so we can show that off.
This is what's going to really surprise you. I just mentioned that they are fast-paced. They do run it down. They run a backline, and not just any backline, a Hydra.
Yes.
Which is you hear fast tempo, fast pace, and you're like, okay, like they're running full front. No, they run a Hydra, and it's such a surprise, and people aren't used to dealing with it, and like it brings something special that I would love to see shine.
Yeah. That's a kind of common misconception. High tempo does not mean all front. What high tempo means, in my opinion, is much more about how efficient a team is at doing whatever they want to do. Like, so it's aiming for smaller openings. For example, the Hydra playing in a high tempo environment is probably going from like position A to position B really, really quickly because there's a player down. So they're taking that man advantage, that small window of opportunity, and doing as much with it as they possibly can to set the rest of their team up. Like, that's really what high tempo is it's about trying for as many opportunities as possible. Whether those opportunities work out or not is kind of the difference between your like really, really good high tempo teams and your middle of the pack high tempo teams. Because the middle of the pack high tempo teams, like who just play really aggressively or play all front, sometimes they encounter a stalwart defense, something that they can't break, and they don't know how to get around that. They can't find openings that are small enough to slide through.
They also lack stability.
Yes.
If they're not used to playing around each other, or they're not used to knowing how to plant their feet in the ground in order to prevent giving up space, which I know. Hi, my name is Skepidillions. I don't think that Tetris block maps are bad. Hot take. I just think they're about how much space are you actively giving up before you retreat to the next choke point. And I think teams that have a backline and that aren't afraid to go, hey, we're taking the next choke, and cascading from there, like Trip Hazard has shown to me personally on the other side of the bracket that they are capable of doing. That's really fascinating to me. And I feel like when you run full front, like you tend to be like, okay, well, we have this additional mobility. Let's back up. Let's rewind. We'll come right back at them. Okay, well, what if they get their Hydra on top mid? Are you coming right back at them? Like, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
that's the teams like Trip Hazard fascinate me in that regard.
Yes. And like I said, I just think they're really fun to watch. So I would
Mhm.
like to see them in gold bracket. That's the that's it. I just want to see them in gold. Just
Well,
yeah.
fingers crossed that
Yeah.
that we'll get there. Trip Hazard, if you're watching this, sign up for qualifier 3.
Please.
We want to see you. Pull up. um, that being said, who is signed up for qualifier 3, Rays?
Let's find out. I don't have qualifier 3 open and I should, but I'm opening it
Mhm.
right now. All right. Do you want me to read off the entire list?
Um, no.
So
um,
sad.
so
Um,
something that I want to hear from is Mutiny. I think they're approximately like Div 5, Div 4.
mhm.
I know there are 2 members on that roster that are former members of EB3B, who are doing
Oh,
very good
okay.
in Div 4. I'm sure that name's familiar to you, Rays.
Hmm.
Um, why do I want to see Mutiny? Because they're coached by a friend of mine. And I've heard through the grapevine that the way they talk is very similar to how my team talks. So personally, I just want to see how they do. I
Some
want to see this.
comparison. You want another data point on
Yeah.
the graph.
Yeah. Precisely. You know
Hmm.
me and data.
Hmm.
Sub Power Up, I want to see them play. I love watching their comps. I know Koreki recently sold his soul to the meta. I want to see where that gets them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams doing that lately.
Yeah. Well, okay. Off meta has a place to work.
Yes.
However,
Yeah.
there are some things that just can't because of the nature of the meta. One of
Yeah.
those things is like chargers other than pencil. I would say the other thing that can't work due to the nature of the meta are rollers. And I'm sorry that has to be said, but unfortunately, I feel it is the truth.
I mean, if Volti stopped running it, I'm just gonna say maybe
Well, so
maybe we should think about it.
the big thing when you think about the meta, what's kind of the comp you think about? Like just
Personally,
what pops into your head?
me, shot, squeezer, zap, pencil. Maybe
Yes.
remove the zap and replace it with a T-Tech. Or a
So
bucket.
the yeah, so like the most like meta comp that pops into my head is double shot pencil and then like Azimi or something is a fourth is I think what Starburst has been running.
Mhm.
But some sort of offshoot from double shot. Um, it's a really high turf output comp.
Yeah.
So because the double shot core is not going to give up much space. They have Zuka to deal with long range threats. And if you actually close distance on them, they're a shot. They're going to, like, if they hit their first 3 shots, you're going to just explode and there's nothing you can do about it. Rollers need to play on either their rat-like mobility, so just squirming their way into positions where they absolutely shouldn't have been in the first place because the defense was supposed to be tighter than that, or they need turf to move around in. So when you put a roller in a meta that is really high turf output,
And
it
suffers.
becomes super, super hard to play. And the only reason Carbon kind of got away with being meta, it's like an off meta pick, is Burst Bomb gives it the mobility that something like a normal roller, like specifically Crack On in this case, lacks. And then Zuka, there's not much else to say in regards to Carbon Deco. Like,
Yeah.
I will say, Crack on Roller in theory is really, really cool because it brings a really cool aspect to a composition that is like staying power. But the vast majority of times, you can't work it into a composition because there aren't other things that mesh well with it. Or you
Mhm.
have to build a comp solely based around it, and it's really, really, really hard to build
Mhm.
that comp and then execute it consistently. So, as cool as it was, overall, switching to a more meta pick, unfortunately, is probably going to see them get better results.
It's not that I'm sad that my favorite off meta teams are moving towards a meta. It's more so that I'm curious. Because it's those teams that have been playing off meta for so long that have been crafting their theory and their knowledge of the game and what things play well with each other, that in my
Mhm.
opinion are going to take everything that they've learned in the past, apply it to this meta, and then develop something a little bit extra on top of it.
Mhm.
That's why I want to watch teams like Sub Power Up. As I'm not expecting them to pull up with shot, pencil, a second shot, and a bucket. Like that's not what I'm expecting them to come out with. I'm expecting them to come out with some of those meta picks and then a little bit of spice on top. And I
And
want
then
to know what
supplement
that
it.
spice is and why.
Yeah.
Because I think they'll always be a step ahead in developing a meta.
Yeah. And yeah. They, those teams will always be trying new things, and that's good, and that leads to development. It's just
Mhm.
it feels weird to say a step ahead because sometimes it's not necessarily a step ahead, it's just something different. And that
Fair.
difference is important, especially for viewers, because when you start over centralizing your meta, like what happened kind of in low ink, where teams are running very standard compositions, is it becomes less fun to watch.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things right now that is, I feel everyone is starting to take on, is the not another double shot. So having those teams who are willing to experiment is very important for tournaments, for SAC specifically, because it helps keep people engaged and entertained. And it's also more fun to talk about. Like it's
Yeah.
I can just go, yeah, double shot's good. It paints a lot and it kills things really good. But it's more fun to talk about why off meta picks are off meta picks and why they're fun and why they can work.
You mean you just don't want to watch Starburst be better? You don't want to watch Splash v Splash Dukes? Like I don't care. Like I just want to watch players be good at the game. I don't care what they're running. Personally, hot take. I know I play Blob, therefore my opinion doesn't matter. But like I just want to watch people be better. Like that's it. I
So
don't care.
approaching this from a general spectator perspective,
Yeah.
it's watching people be good at the game is one thing, but
Yeah.
understanding why they're good at the game is completely different. So
Understand.
a lot of people, when they see shot v shot, it's just two shots running at each other, because there are little intricacies about how players take fights and how that all breaks down. It's really two things. It's really hard to break that down on a stream because the
Yeah.
camera's flying everywhere and moving around and getting different angles and trying to spread the spotlight. But then it's also generally hard for commentators to express those in game when there are other
Fair.
larger, more important storylines to get had. For example, the story that's old as time itself, Starburst versus not Starburst. You're always going to favor Starburst into there, but the who's punching up to Starburst level today? Who can I? Well, I guess it's Jackpot now. Who's gonna try to upset Jackpot? Who's going to throw hands? Are they running meta? Are they running not meta? Why is Jackpot still likely to win this? Like those type of stories and explanations are much more important than going, oh, Brain is a good shot because he stepped backward here instead of stepping forward, or he stepped to the left instead of stepping to the right. And it's getting into that minutia, while is exciting for me and you,
Yeah.
to a general viewer might not be as exciting.
You bring great points, Reyes. uh, no, it makes sense to me. I'm sure it makes sense to the people in chat. Yeah, good explanation.
So
uh,
I guess we'll bring it back to SAC then.
yeah,
A team name I don't really know anything about, but their name sticks out to me and I like it, so I want to talk about it or at least touch on it. Entropy.
they have yet to fill out the commentary doc.
God, Smack's desk. Okay.
So if they might not even be playing tomorrow because if they and you do not have that commentary doc, that survey filled out by the time signups close at 7 p.m. tonight, we will drop you. This is a threat.
Well, I tried. Their name is cool. I hope they do
Yeah.
well. I like them. Because
That's who's on that roster.
that's how I pick out what teams I'm very simple like that. Teams I know, and then teams that I think have good names. If you're one of those two things, I will root for you the entire time.
Fair. Jelly Squids, I want to see them play good because they played good at LTC and won silver bracket at LTC 2023. If I remember correctly, don't quote me on that, but I'm probably correct. Jelly Squids, I want to see them play. Oh no, it's looking to be a small SAC. I mean, it's the middle of Ludi season. People are tired. I'm not surprised.
It's not actually the middle. It's starting to get towards the end. I think there's only like 2 weeks of regular season play left.
I need my emotional support cappuccino.
Like, that was one of the things when I figured that out. I was like, oh my god.
It's almost over.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dog.
Yeah, like I said, there's only 2 more weeks of regular season play, and then like playoffs start. But yeah, for the most part, Ludi is almost done.
You know what else is almost done?
What's almost done?
Season 1 of Sendoku.
I'm gonna be honest, I forgot that it had a season model. I just kind of assumed it was here forever now.
It's pretty much is here forever, but at the end of season 1, which will happen in between qualifier 3 and qualifier 4, people are going to be added to the plus system. So if you're one of those people who are making +1 and current, fingers crossed for you, but if you're one of those people who are currently slated to make +1, you better win qualifier 3, otherwise you're ineligible for qualifier 4. It's a weird season of SAC. It's just weird.
How many SAC players are ranked highly enough in Sendout Q that they will get into +1?
You actually.
Really?
Yeah, let me go over there.
Like +2 I would kind of expect, but +1, forgive me for being skeptical, however, I am skeptical. I couldn't think of a better word, I'm sorry.
I don't know how to find that information. But
okay, well,
but it ends November 19th, and I do see people on Twitter that I know that are cohorts of mine that are SAC eligible, and I see them being excited to make the plus server, and some of them surprise me with +1 on occasion. I do get bamboozled.
Yeah, because like I said, +3 easy,
Yeah.
+2 sure, but +1, like I said, forgive me for just like being extremely surprised.
Out of touch, not surprised.
Out of I don't know. I'll look at that VOD. I'll like I said, just because I don't put people on blast here does not mean I will not put people on blast.
I don't know, Ray. I think you need a cappuccino.
I don't need a cappuccino. I don't want to. You guys, nobody needs to see me on caffeine. That doesn't need to happen.
Point being, in between qualifier 3 and qualifier 4, if you make +1, you are ineligible for SAC. However, if you qualify for finals, you're grandfathered.
Interesting.
So obviously we're not taking anybody out of their final spot just because they got a little bit too good over the course of the season. Good for you! That's why we're here! Let's go mid-level! But, yeah. I mean, there's a month in between qualifier 3 and qualifier 4, so a lot can happen. I know we haven't been public about this yet, just because there were a couple of moving parts behind the scene as to what was originally anticipated to be our qualifier 4 to final schedule versus where it is now, but you're hearing it here first. Qualifier 4 is December 2nd, and finals is December 9th. Normally we do have that 3-week break in between Q4 and finals, but this time they're back to back, so just a little bit different than previous SAC seasons.
Mhm.
But this SAC season across the board has just been a little bit different.
Well, it's been stuff happened behind the scenes. Like Nick, who did most of the work, stepped down. They were getting burned out, and now new people have come in to fill that spot, like you and Toma. So it's understandable that things are a little different because each organizer brings their own touch to an event. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Otherwise, every tournament would be the same, and everyone knows not every tournament is the same, whether that's rule set, map pool, or some other quirky thing in general. So
I'm just excited for the future of SAC. I have a couple of little ideas that are not podcast ready. So
yes,
but I cook.
that doesn't scare me at all.
No, you should be happy.
That doesn't scare me at all. So okay, we're getting towards the end of the podcast. So something I wanted to give Chad the opportunity to do, if you're okay with it, is potentially ask questions that we can wrap around to if we see any that we want to answer while we continue talking about other things. So I'm just going to leave this bookmark here and say, chat, if you have any questions, we'll look at it, try to answer it the best we can. But that being said,
how has life been, Reyes?
Busy. It's been really busy.
Yeah, I understand.
Like, there's just been a lot of stuff going on. Just a lot of stuff.
I will have been to 2 lands in the span of a week. So Cali last week, Sunset Surge this week. So I recovering post LAN is always a process for me, especially since SoCali was in California. We had to drive 7 hours to get there.
7.
Yeah. And I had to go 9 because I had to take a bus up to Phoenix.
Okay.
So for me, there's always post LAN recovery. So 2 in a row is just kind of a lot. But hey, I'm blessed. Local scene here, it's dope.
Yeah. Imagine if more places had locals. All right. Something that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's read some quotes from the ComDoc.
Yes. Okay, I love this.
I think that's what we should do. So
I really like Orca Balestra's quotes that they put in. My favorite being, "Who the hell needs vowels when you have condiments," or whatever it's called.
What is that? What does that even mean?
I think they meant to say consonants. It's a good one.
That one, okay. There's a team named Mammoth Meatball, and I'm looking. I'm seeing what quote they have, if they have a quote, because surely with a name like Mammoth Meatball, it has to be good. Surely.
They have a good one. You can read that, yeah. I did specify in the team survey, please make sure that these are safe for work because we might read them on stream. That one, if it's not crossed out, it's safe. I do check.
Yeah. So, okay. So their full answer to the question was, our quotes are mostly ball related, but to be honest, here's one. Looks at boiling lava. Red. I want to shovel it into my goblin face like it's shredded cheese at 3 a.m. And honestly, that's the quality content that mid-level is missing. You know what? We found it. We found the sauce.
We found it.
It's lava. Lava is the sauce.
Unlimited Woomy United, which is another lovely off-meta team. I highlighted this one because it made me laugh. This one's from Pop Gun. Here comes Uwu with a very exotic team comp. makes
See,
me laugh.
yeah, that's giving me like Exotic Butters vibes.
I don't know what that is, but you do you.
Oh, I don't remember which Five Nights at Freddy's game it's from, but it's from a Five Nights at Freddy's game, which is on topic because the movie came out. So, little pop culture callback. Hello, fellow kids, it is me.
Race champ. Wait, I have a race champ. Can I hold on?
You have a race champ?
What?
See, eventually I'm gonna have to explain the context of race champ, and it's not gonna be. It might be today. Who knows? But yeah,
Hold on, let me.
that's not race champ. That's race camp. Come on now. Okay. Do I give context to race champ or?
Yeah,
okay.
You do.
Okay. So basically, what race champ was. So the first night I ever attended was Genesis 7. Spiked for it. No way. Okay. What race champ was back in Genesis 7 was the first LAN I ever attended. To where I got to meet a lot of my Splatoon friends for the first time. The person who made race champ was we took a team picture, and like our funny one was make a plain face, as plain a face as you possibly could. It like stands up like the council has decided your fate. And so what happened is that's that picture. So, but what ended up happening is Soko, an old player from Southern Lights, who none of you probably know anymore because he's been out of the competitive community for a while. It really only shows up to LANs because he was at Riptide. So actually, some of you guys might know him. Took that. It was like, this is Ray's champ now. And what Soko did is for every synonym or everything that ended in amp, every rhyme, there's literally Ray's amp, there's Ray's camp, there's Ray's champ, I'm pretty sure Ray's lamp.
I have more of them in my suitcase.
Oh no. But yeah, basically Soko made it his life's mission to just be Ray's champ.
Yeah.
So for reference, we're on Twitch, so people probably know what Weird Champ is. But it's supposed to be like Weird Champ. Wait, really? People know? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the Soko I'm talking about from Southern Lights has been out for a while.
I got to hang out with him at Riptide. That was cool.
Oh, they're super cool. I still hang out with him.
We occasionally played Valorant, so.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of surprises me. But yeah, that's the story. That's the very interesting story of Race Champ. And not at all related to SAC, which is completely gone off the rails on a tangent. That we should probably get back on, but I don't know which rail to get back on, so I'm just letting this go.
Raze, I think maybe it's time to get off the station.
Just yeah. Get off the train.
Yeah.
Get off at the next station and wander.
We've talked about everything that we could. Nothing else changes. Except maybe our name.
What? Boing having fun with it with the keyboard back there.
Without further ado, let's show you a clip from Qualifier 2.
A hype clip to get everyone hyped for Qualifier 3 to go sign up.
Yes, let's show them in my opinion, a very good push from the finals, game 1. Boing, can you dab us up?
Out, but you've got to deal with the Zukas as well. They do take out one with the Tri-Strikes, and the Tri-Strikes do pressure the zone, able to cap it finally, but you need to get that space forward. You need to create that kind of lockout situation that you had going on earlier in the game. They're going to start that by picking out Star. They're going to get their foothold in on the top part of this map, but they've got to keep that paint on the zone because Get Your Money Up is not going to stop painting it. You see you've got 3 shooters here ready to be moving up and trying to just take control of that, and Mar on the side as well trying to support them. Captain Happy supporting their crew. They're seeing if they can find any picks, and they do find one nice one there. Now they have 2. They're going to be holding this zone. This is going to be the lead flip. This can be huge for them. This is that kind of lockout opportunity. They've got to survive this Zuka coming out, and they've got the strikes to be able to hold it. Get Your Money Up has to make a rush at the zone now if they want to be able to cap, but going 2 down there.
And that... Go ahead.
And that was game 1 versus Captain Happy Crew and Get Yo Money Up from qualifier 2 finals. Captain Happy Crew did take that set in a very clean 3-0. Coincidence that we've had both Splat Zone Ship Shape in game 1 of finals for 2 qualifiers in a row. And that team that won that obviously wins the set. Disclosure that the IPL map list generator did put it as game 1 of finals for qualifier 3 as well, and Raze has encouraged me to change it. So
don't run it a third time. I'm like, see, and now you've said it, now people will know. Earlier there was like plausible deniability that people might not find out. Now people know, so in my opinion, now you have to change it.
That's why I said it.
Unless a bunch of people show up on Twitter and go like, no, don't change it. I want to play it for a third time. Like, you should probably just change it.
I'm gonna just change it. Yeah, I'm gonna change it. I got you, Raze.
Yeah. I think... Go ahead.
We have one more... Before we go, we do have another montage. While we have been attempting, thank you Orb and thank you Cactus to put together montages for each qualifier, and Cactus did this week's montage. It's phenomenal. So before we go, we will show that to you. Shout out to Glitch Cactus, a member of Persistence, who is currently signed up for Qualifier 3. Good luck, Cactus. Raze, anything else you need to say?
No, I don't think I have anything else to say. Thank you for watching. Please support IPL on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever else you can find us at IPL Splatoon. Please go subscribe, watch our VODs. They're great, I promise. The commentators always are impeccable, so you have nothing to worry about in that regard. You can find me on Twitter at Raze_Splat. I don't tweet much. I mostly just like and retweet things, but occasionally I make the mistake of posting an opinion. But that's all from me.
Thank you for supporting SAC and turning out to play our events. As Raze mentioned, support IPL everywhere that you can. We really need it right now. And if you want to see more from me, I don't know why you would, but you can find me at Skeptidillions pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, you name it. The other website, Blue Sky, that too. Yeah, and see you on Saturday, and stay fresh.
Yeah, and even more than that, they're starting to control the enemy ramp. Zuka gets like a lateral double kill. BB Zuka has been on point this whole set, and that's going to lead to Eggshells getting their first score.
10 left.
Oh, the pressure.
Got
him. Got 2. Got 3. Let's paint.
I'm coming in paint.
Coming tower.
He's just so weak. He's on a behind.
Got you mid.
That's 2. Nice. Hey, this one
I'm like below them. I am not trying to poke the ledge. Oh, Viper dropped in mid. I have to. Right.
2 members go down the side of Eggshells. Another ink bag is at the ready. And the power clan makes its way into the basket. All these clams are being stored. That's going to be the lead, switching back over to get your money up, and they're still getting more clams. This basket is still open. Get your money up, finally getting a strong push. Inari's finally going to pre-call and going to get that power clan into the basket, but if they toss it around, it could have been much better, but they still get the lead all the same, down to 60 points, and they have more clams to score.
Yeah, that's a delay, but that inkjet got them so much in terms of numbers advantage. But right now they're scoring a lot, and we are down to 28 and counting. They are still on the attack, and the Zuka is going to give extra cover. 2 down for Stratus and Mirror Illusion.
There's a lot to manage in this game mode, and they are finally able to find that basket break. They do have another power clamp here, though the carrier going to go down, not able to find the break, but the Inkback comes out to assist and is going to be able to let that land securely. 3 down. It looks like they may be able to take the lead here if they can get just 2 more clams. The shot is going to be looking for that. They do find the lead perfectly, waiting for that patient opportunity. Another power clam goes in on the side. Get your money up with an absolutely huge, patiently played game.
You don't want to see. And now D's going to be very slow to push this off because one bomb can spell the end here, but they cannot delay too long because that'll happen. They'll come out of their spawn, and Captain Happy Crew holds on to the defense.